Star Wars Young Jedi Knights Diversity Alliance Chapter 7. After the battle against the predatory ship High Roller, Loie climbed out of the quad laser emplacement on the bridge of the trade wind. Though full of energy and pumped up from the fight, he was also disturbed that the ill-conceived ambush had cost the ruthless attacker his life. Turning in a slow circle, Lobaka scanned the viewports, observing the space debris and mangled bits of hull plating that drifted there, all that remained of the bounty hunter's ship. They were safe now, at least until the next unexpected attack from someone else with a grudge against the Thole family. When the weapons officer had been unable to score a hit on the High Roller from the console control, Tycho had called on Loie and Jaina to assist him. The attacker ship had fired relentlessly at the bridge, darting and dodging all return fire until Loie and Jaina had joined the fray, with their Jedi-enhanced abilities. In the end, one of Jaina's shots had taken out the High Roller, and the danger from the outside was truly over, for the moment. Loie's battle-ready reflexes began to relax, but waves of tension still rolled from the quad laser emplacement where Jaina sat. The security guard entered the bridge deck, his face grim. He informed Tycho that Officer Krust had been apprehended while trying to abduct Raynar and Arwen, and that Jason Tenelkar and Raynar himself had thwarted the plan devised by Krust and his bounty hunter brother. Tycho thrust out his generous lower lip and commented, "Brother? So Krust was in it on it. You see, these cankers can't get good help these days." Loie helped a shaky Jaina climb from the quad laser as well. Her face remained flushed in the excitement of the space battle, but her brandy brown eyes were somber. "If Zeke still wants to become a bounty hunter, I hope he never does anything that stupid," she said in a low voice. Loie crowned a soft note of understanding. Tycho Thole approached, his hands clasped behind his neck. "Those bounty hunters must all be after members of the Thole family, including me. Presumably, we can be used as bait to lure Bornin out of hiding." He shook his head. "I wish my brother wasn't so self-centered and foolish. I'm getting a good picture of what must happen," he said. "The High Roller must have intended to create a diversion while Krust kidnapped Arwen and Raynar, then launched them from the ship in an escape pod or some other craft that happened to be available, like the Rock Dragon," Jaina said. Loie mulled over this and then rumbled his understanding. "Indeed," EMTD poked up. "A relatively simple plan. So the High Roller would have broken off its attack, picked up Krusk and the hostages, and made a quick hop into hyperspace. Well, what happened to the rest of the merchant fleet then?" Tycho asked. EMTD made a sound as if we were clearing his throat. Allow me, sir. I would like to access the Tradewind's computers. I might be able to rectify the situation." "Direct access to the Tradewind's computers?" Tycho's eyes narrowed with suspicion. "I've had quite an experience with droids. I know that susceptible they are to programming glitches. How can I be sure this droid is trustworthy?" "Programming glitches indeed," EMTD huffed at the same moment Loie let out a roar of offended pride. Tycho backed away, holding up his hands in the place of the injector. Very well. Be my guest. Just don't tell Arwen I gave you access." In a matter of minutes, the Wookiee and Jaina had EMTD hooked up to the flagship's bridge computer system. As he scanned, EMTD began making cryptic comments. "Ah, yes, I see. Oh, indeed. Fascinating." Jaina listened, biting her lower lip. Finally, she could no longer. "Mind sharing your insights with us, EMTD?" "Why, of course, Mistress Jaina," the little droid said. "How remiss of me. It's just this machine is so marvelously intelligent, and I..." Loie gave an impatient bark. "Just cut to the chase," Jaina said. "Go on, droid. Tell us what happened," Tycho added fiercely. "Well," EMTD began in a defensive voice, "I should think it's intuitively obvious by now. Officer Krusk had the navigational link to all the fleet's computers. He just sent the rest of them false jump coordinates." "So," Tycho said, "that transmission burst security picked up a few minutes before our last hyperspace jump must have been Krust sending out the true coordinates to his brother, that bounty hunter." "That seems highly likely, sir," EMT agreed. Loie was interested to see Tycho's attitude change subtly at this indirect phrase from the miniaturized translating droid. A simple and elegant plan, Tycho said. Excellent work, George. Can you plot us to a route to the rest of the fleet is now? Of course, sir. Nothing simpler. I have become quite adept at establishing rapport with Starship navigation computers. Uncle Tycho gave a derisive nod. Very well, do that. He paused for a moment. And, EMTD, is it? When you're finished, can you work out an algorithm for randomizing our hyperspace jump so that no one will be able to broadcast our coordinates ahead of time? It would be my greatest pleasure, sir, EMTD replied with a nod. Apparently satisfied, Tycho retreated to consult with the ship's security staff while the other crew members went to call Arwen, Duro, Thrall back to the bridge. Louis gave EMTD a congratulatory pat. Who says one can't find any trustworthy help these days? The little droid said. Even if official ceremonies with the Thole family were boring, Jason thought meals were not. The group sat under a soundproof, gravity-controlled dome in a vast room with glossy yellow walls. They all lounged on cushioned benches that surrounded the low turtle meal table. In the center of the table, a food carousel turned slowly to display every kind of fruit, meat, bread, vegetable, sweet, and delicacy Jason could imagine. At the very center of the carousel bubbled a fountain filled with ever-sweet blue Osberry ale. From the soundproof dome, a dozen low-gravity dancers tumbled and pirouetted through the air in the yellow room. But even such a large and wonderful ship as the trade one must have seemed like a cage to Arwen and Raynar at the moment, Jason supposed.
Oh no, my kingdom!
Mother, Raynar said suddenly, tell me what you know about Father's disappearance. I've got nothing but second-hand reports so far. Jason snagged a cluster of orange berries from the fruit carousel and listened carefully. Arwen pressed her hands tightly together in her lap, and her lively, intelligent face filled with distress. Bonan said it would be safer if I didn't know about the negotiations he was conducting, some important exchange with a representative of a new political movement. He said that the situation with the contact was quite volatile, but he hoped to have everything smoothed out before the trade conference he would attend in Shumnavar. He never arrived at the trade conference, Raynar said, filling in the part where he already knew. But you know where he went before that? What was the last place anyone saw him? That much I was able to find out, Arwen said. Before he disappeared, he was going to some sort of mysterious meeting on an ancient planet called Kuar. Maybe that was something to do with the secret he was planning, hiding. Then that's where we need to go to pick up his trail, Raynar said. You're not going anywhere, young man, Tycho said. It's too dangerous. This recent little escapade with the Kruskin's brother make that all too clear. Kuar, Tenelka said from across the table. An odd place for a meeting. Is it not? Has it not been abandoned for centuries? You've heard of the planet? Arwen asked. Only by reputation, Tenelka said, tossing her red gold braids behind her shoulders. Kuar held a small measure of historical interest for me, since it is one of the ancient worlds conquered by Mandalorian warriors, a fearsome race of fighters. I have studied many of their legends. Hey, doesn't Boba Fett wear Mandalorian armor? Jason said, and and when he found us in the Alderaan system, he was looking for Bonan Thol. All the more reason to go to Kuar, Raynar said. My father might have left a message there, or at least a clue. All too risky, Arwen said, shaking her head vigorously. Raynar, you need to leave your protection, our protection. If you leave our protection here, 1,000 villains will be lying in wait for you. Exactly, Tycho added. If you went to Kuar, you'd be playing right into some greedy bounty hunter's hands, or worse. Until we find out what kind of mess my brother has got himself into, you and your mother must stay under the protection of the fleet. Ah, Tenelka said. Ah, but we do not need to stay, my friends and I. Hey, that's right, Jason said. We've got Tenelka's ship, and we can go whenever we want. Nobody will notice us. Jaina spoke up, looking from Arwen to Raynar. The four of us could check out Kuar for you. Let you know what we find. Loey rumbled his approval, and Raynar's eyes lit with hope. The 5 of us, EMT chimed in. Above them, one of the low-gravity dancers paused for a moment with her left foot on top of the dome and then spun off again. Arwen gazed up and watched the dancer drift away. It's a very kind offer, but I'm afraid I can't let you children. Mother, Raynar interrupted. They're not children. These are young Jedi Knights. They fought against the Shadow Academy and won. Well, in that case, I think it's an excellent idea, Tycho said. I just need to get back to Mechas 3 soon. Just check on all the automated systems, or I would make the journey with them myself. The sooner we find out what's happened to Bornon, the sooner we can get back to heading our own lives. He looked around the table at Jason, Jaina, Loey, and Tenelka. The fleet will be in hiding, but you can report back to me whenever you find, he said decisively. I'll let you know how to contact Raynar and Arnon again. Raynar looked greatly relieved to have his uncle supporting us. It's all settled then, he said. I'm glad somebody's finally doing something. This is a fact, Tenelka agreed with a faint smile. Whenever my pilot and co-pilot are ready, we can leave. Jaina gulped down the last bit of Osprey ale in her cup and then jumped up from her feet. Well then, she said, I'm ready for just about anything.